Hello everyone, as we already have seen how we can create components using functions, and now we would see how we can create components using classes. For that, let's go to examples directory, and I'm creating a new file called uh, class example.tsx. Okay, and now I'm going to create a class, and I'm going to export this. I'm going to use this as a default and class example. So this is a very basic class we have, and in order to use this class as a React component, there are a few more things we need to do. We need to import React first of all, and then another class we need to import, that is component from React. Okay, and this React class we have to extend to the current class, and when we extend the component from React, we need to override a method called render. Okay, and this render method should return a JSX element, and I'm going to return a div, and I'm going to give a message, hello class example. I'm saving this, and then I'm starting the server. Okay, the page has loaded, and we can see that our class example is being displayed here. Okay, so this is how we can create a component using class. So this is the example of how we can create components using classes, and now we can now we have to see that how we can pass arguments or properties to the components. Okay, for that I'm going to create another class inside the same file, class counter. Okay, and this also is going to extend component because we are going to use this as a React component as well, and this is going to return again a JSX element as we have done already, and this is going to be a div. Okay, so this is the class we are going to use for which we would be passing arguments. Okay, and we are going to use this class inside this. Okay, so I'm going to pass this counter component directly into the class example. Okay, and we have to receive arguments or parameters in counter class. Okay, for that there is one thing we have to do. We have to pass the generics or the types. So this is how we are going to pass, we are going to tell component that we would be passing arguments, and you can display them into your components. So we have passing two arguments here. One is any and any. So the first argument we have is for the props or the properties. The second is going to be for state. Okay, so I'm currently focusing only on the props. We'll come to state later. Okay, so when I say any, so that means we can use any type of argument here. Okay, so I'm considering this would be any, so I can type this as this dot props dot val. Okay, and I'm going to pass val here as 10. Okay, so I have saved this. Let's go back to the browser, and immediately we can see that we have the value 10. Let me zoom in a little more so that it's easier for us to see the value. Okay, so we have 1010. Coming back to our class example. Okay, so this is how we can pass parameters. And as we already had seen how we should be using type safety, okay, so that we should use a type variable here, okay, counter param or props type, okay, or I can just keep it as counter props, and I'm going to use the val as number, okay, and this is the same type I can pass in here. That's it. And since the moment we specify this as val as number, and we have used this as the component props for counter, immediately we can see that TypeScript is complaining. The reason it is complaining this as, see, val is number, okay, and what we are passing here, it is being treated as a string, okay. So in order to pass a number, so we have to use braces. So we have to use braces for not just numbers, for objects also. So we can use the double quotes only for string variables, okay. And similarly, I'm passing this one as val, okay, and I'm using this as string, okay, and I can change this to val string, and this I can pass, okay. What does it say? Okay, so we have to make this as optional. That's it. See, we can pass this one as string variable. The reason it was complaining is because it was expecting both the val and string, and that time I did not make the val optional. So if I remove this optional here, so the complaint will come back, okay. So for now I'm going to use the number, and this will go back to number type, okay. So this is how we can pass parameters to class components.